guys, filmmaker dad and the guy behind 20 Minute Gamer. Today I'm diving into Rainswept on PC via Steam. I'll be honest, I'd never even heard of this game until I reviewed Forgotten Fields a while back, which was made by the same developer. I really loved the vibe and storytelling in Forgotten Fields, so when I saw it was by the same creator, I thought, well, let's see what else they've got up their sleeve. So here we are, raincoat on, detective hat firmly in place. Rainswept is a narrative-driven mystery adventure developed by Frostwood Interactive, a one-man indie studio based in India. It was designed to focus on emotional storytelling, introspective themes, and small-town drama. Inspired by games like To the Moon and Life is Strange, it blends a murder mystery with the character-driven exploration. This is very much a labour of love from a small creator, and you can feel that personal passion project in every pixel and plot thread. Story. The story kicks off with your character, a detective named Michael Stone, arriving in a quiet town to investigate a double murder. The victims? A young couple found dead in their home. From the moment you step onto the scene, there's tension in the air. The local police are cold, dismissive, and clearly not thrilled that you're poking your nose into their business. There's pressure to close the case quickly, especially since there's a town festival just around the corner, and they don't want the scandal ruining the good vibes. You immediately sense that something's off. The case doesn't add up. And as a player, you start to piece together small details from the environment and the conversations you have with townsfolk. You meet a cast of classic characters. There's the gruff chief who's more interested in PR than justice. There's young rookie cops and the nosy neighbour who's always just listening in. It's got all the small town murder mystery vibes. Think Twin Peaks if Agent Cooper was prone to fainting spells and hallucinations. And that's the twist actually. Your character starts seeing people who aren't there, hearing things, collapse and losing his grip on things. It adds a surreal edge that makes it more than just a whodunit. Sure, some of the beats feel very familiar, even very predictable, but the volume of dialogue and the strength of the writing really did have me hooked. In just 20 minutes, I met half a dozen characters and already started forming theories. That's good storytelling. Score, 8 out of 10. Controls. Controls-wise, it's point and click all the way. You move left and right across side-scrolling scenes and interact with things using your mouse. You'll get basic options like look at, speak to, and use. It's incredibly straightforward. There's no tutorials needed, no keyboard gymnastics. It actually reminded me of old Shockwave Flash games I used to play back in the early 2000s. So if you like those, you'll feel right at home. There are some mild puzzles, like someone asking you to fetch a wrench from a toolbox, which immediately reminded me of Forgotten Fields, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a deliberate Easter egg from the developer. But let's be real, this game isn't trying to reinvent gameplay. It's a delivery system for the story, and while it gets the job done, it's still all a little bit functional. Still, I had no technical issues or clunky moments. Everything worked as intended. Score, 6 out of 10. Atmosphere. This is where I really thought that Rainswept was brilliant. Despite its modest production values, the game creates a strong sense of place. You arrive in town under grey skies, walking through rain-soaked streets, and it just pulls you in. Pedestrians shuffled by, watching the scene, thunder rumbles in the distance, and the quiet melancholy of the environment feels heavy. There's something really immersive about the rain hitting the pavement, the low hum of everyday life around you, and the desaturated colour palette. The visuals and audio work well together beautifully. When I was handed a map of the town towards the end of my playthrough, it felt like a door opening. I suddenly wanted to explore every street, talk to every resident, get to the bottom of the mystery. It's the kind of slow burn that creeps up on you. Score, 8 out of 10. Music and sound. The soundtrack deserves serious praise. From the moment you boot up the game, the ambient rain and environmental noise puts you right there in the town. The music, composed specifically for the game, isn't overbearing. It gently supports the tone of each scene, creating something that feels sad but comforting. At times, I was genuinely surprised at how polished the audio felt, especially considering the scale of the project. It reminded me of those lo-fi indie films where the soundtrack becomes a character in itself. Sure, the game doesn't feature any voice acting, and in a perfect world I would have liked that, but given the sheer amount of dialogue, I totally understand why this wasn't feasible. Still, the combo of ambient sounds and original music more than makes up for it. I actually found myself looking up the soundtrack later, and that's a great sign. Score, 7 out of 10. Visually, the game's art style is basic, but charming. It reminds me a lot of the animations I do for my work. Flat characters, simple rigs, clean vector shapes. Honestly, it was like seeing one of my own storyboard mockups come to life. Some players might find that off-putting, but I found it endearing. That said, the consistency isn't perfect. A few background assets felt like they belonged in a different game entirely, and the proportions sometimes looked a little bit South Park-esque. Still, considering this is very likely developed by one person, it's a solid achievement. The map artwork in particular was a standout for me. It felt personal, handcrafted, and full of potential. I'd love to see what this dev could do with a bit more budget and a small team. Score, 5 out of 10. Gameplay. Let's be clear, this is not a gameplay-heavy experience. You're here to walk around, click through dialogue trees, and soak in the story. That's not a bad thing, but if you're looking for challenge, puzzles, or anything resembling action, it's not going to be there in the first 20 minutes. I spent most of my 20 minutes chatting to locals, occasionally selecting dialogue responses and clicking on things to see what they were. At times, the repetition of reading a dialogue option and then watching our character repeat it again felt a little bit redundant, especially without the voice acting. It's all a bit too basic to feel satisfying in a gameplay sense, but I never felt bored because I was in it for the narrative. And if you're the type of player who enjoys the journey more than the mechanics, it might be just right for you. Score, 5 out of 10. The moment that got me hooked for this was the very first scene at the crime scene. The way the camera panned down from the grey sky to the crime scene, the quiet soundscape, the officers muttering, and the rain pattering down, I just knew I was going to enjoy getting lost in this rainy, sleepy little town. Final verdict, is this worth 20 minutes? If you're looking for something polished, flashy, or revolutionary, Rainswept probably won't hit the mark. But if you're in the mood for an atmospheric story with well-drawn characters, subtle tension, and emotional weight, then this is a lovely little experience. It's rough around the edges, but full of heart. It may not be for everyone, but I genuinely want to play more, and that's a win in my book. Final score, 7 out of 10. Have you played Rainswept? Did the mystery grab you, or was the slow pace and too much drizzle and not enough storm? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like and drop a comment please. I'm always up for chatting slow burn mysteries and indie gems. If you're anything like me, you don't have hours to sink into every game, and that's why I test whether a game can hook you in just those first 20 minutes. And I'll see you on the next one.